Hello and welcome to Awful Commentary. Today I want to start our latest segment about animation, whether it be American or Japanese or anything in betweens. That doesn't rhyme. Specifically, I want to talk about a show that I've really got into recently called
Space Dandy. He's a dandy guy in space. He combs the galaxy like his pompadour on the hunt for aliens. Planet after planet he searches, discovering bizarre new creatures both friendly and not. These are the spectacular adventures of Space Dandy and his brave space crew in space.
Space Dandy is a Japanese anime produced by Bones that ran for 2 seasons between 2013 to 2014, which means no decade-long waits. Attack on Titan. I ended up watching Space Dandy purely because I was curious, and unlike the cat, I really got into it. The cat didn't. The cat died. I'm sorry, Mr. Bigglesworth. But I mean, why wouldn't you be curious about this show? After all,
he's a dandy guy in space.
The show revolves around 3 central characters: an alien hunter called Space Dandy, his robotic assistant called Cutie, and a Beetlejuicean called Meow, who is kind of a cat, but he's not a cat, but he's pretty much a cat. And not once has he been killed by his curiosity. It's a lie. The idiom is a lie. But the reason I wanted to talk about the show was not just because I enjoyed it, but because of how it compared to my expectations. If you were to just watch the trailer for Space Dandy, then it would be easy to get the idea that it's just a colourful show that's good for a few laughs, and my god, is it colourful. I'm pretty sure they were all on LSD while they made this. And to begin with, its colourful, kind of surrealist nature was why I stuck around with the show, because it wasn't actually that funny. That's not to say that Space Dandy isn't comical. It is. The characters are great and they're worth coming back to time after time. But if you're expecting an adult comedy in the vein of Archer or Family Guy or anything like that, then it's not for you. Instead, Space Dandy kind of subverts those expectations by giving you the comedy and the booby jokes. There's a lot of booby jokes, but actually delivering something far deeper that you weren't expecting. In fact, it wasn't until the 5th episode that I realised I'd been tricked. There I was, enjoying some surreal misadventures, when all of a sudden I realised it has a soul. And when Space Dandy pulls on those heartstrings, tears, there will be tears. And this is what Dandy has in common with a character like Archer. Both exist in the realm of the Blackadder-esque sitcom monster. Both have characters that are really quite easy to understand. They're based around boobs, they're based around making quips, and generally being a dick to everyone. But what Dandy does that Archer has only done on a few rare occasions is use what you know about the character to surprise you. Knowing that the only thing Dandy cares about is money so he can go to boobies, a restaurant. When he then forms an emotional connection to a character, you feel it twice as much because you know this generally isn't who he is. When he's nice to someone, he's twice as nice because you know he's normally just a douche to everybody. And you know that generally because he's a buffoon who puts braggadocio ahead of actual skill, when he's really good at something, he's twice as good. Space Dandy is worth avoiding though if you're somebody who loves and favours continuity. If you like long, interweaving storylines, then this isn't the show for you. This is more like a series of one-shot comics than it is a full graphic novel. In fact, without wanting to give away any spoilers, the whole series seems to be based in just a number of parallel universes with people who look exactly the same. The advantage of this is that you carry across your feelings and beliefs about the characters from episode to episode, but they aren't tied in to the previous events. It also means that there's no guarantee as to what's going to happen at the end of each episode. Do you think that the heroes are just magically going to escape? Maybe they're not. Space Dandy is short and sweet, and you can drop in at any episode and it's just as good as starting at episode 1. The episodes come in different styles, are experimental with different types of animation with different themes. And ultimately, this could be Space Dandy's advantage against the competition. You go into each episode being guaranteed nothing but a couple of booby jokes, so when it delivers more than that, you can see the genius behind the creation at work. So this is my recommendation for what could be the most colourful piece of work I've ever seen. Have you guys seen Space Dandy? Are you going to go and watch it now? If you see an episode of it, let me know what you think. Thank you for joining us on Awful Commentary, and we hope to see you again soon.